The 1960s were one of the most stormy and divided decades in history, yet filled with peace, love, and rock and roll. I have said this many, many times before. It was a different time and a different era. The period was marked by the civil rights movement, the Vietnam War, anti-war protests, political unrest, the pop culture movement, the beginning of the generation gap. Elvis was king, Beatlemania arrived, Psycho was in every theater, and Marilyn Monroe was only 36. Presidential candidates John F. Kennedy and Richard Nixon engage in a political debate to present their arguments for President of the United States. This is where my story starts, so I take you back with me to 1960, and my narrative speaks about a hero, as well as the present state of politics. It's New York City, and we are in our family's 1951 Chevrolet, black if my memory serves me. My dad is seated behind the wheel, me and Mom are in the front seat, and my two siblings are in the back seat while we wait for my grandfather's workday to end. My grandfather was a baker. Even as a 9-year-old kid, I still recall the heartwarming aromas emanating from that bakery on the Lower East Side. The car radio was on, and Dad was listening to the Democrat National Convention. If anybody recalls the conventions back then, they were very contentious, to say the least. They asked tough questions, and nobody was assured of winning. That year, John F. Kennedy, then junior United States Senator from Massachusetts, announced his intention to seek the Democratic Party nomination for the presidency of the United States against Richard Nixon. Sitting in a hot car waiting for my grandfather, I was bored out of my mind, so I asked my dad who he was rooting for. After my question, my dad said simply, "I'm rooting for Kennedy to be Nixon's opponent." Let me tell you this. I grew up in a very conservative Republican household. My dad was a New York City cop, and I figured he would want all gates down for his Republican side to win. Still, there we were, listening to the Democrat National Convention. Ted should have been rooting for the weakest runner. So Kennedy as Nixon's opponent, this was too much for a very sports competitive 9-year-old kid. In my mind, for the Republican Party to win, Dad should want the weakest competitor. My reasoning, get the least likely to win, and that helped Nixon win. Why want the strongest opponent? I couldn't figure why. What my father, my hero, said next was simple, yet a life lesson so powerful that I have never forgotten. He looked at me and said Kennedy would be the next best alternative over Nixon. This is a race for the presidency of the United States of America. It's not about which party should win. It's what is best for America. Cheers to that, Dad, and words we should all live by when elections next roll around. Thanks for letting me tell you some of my life lesson passed down to me and now shared with you.